Mate, either way, it's fucking weird how many people are getting hit in the head at the moment. I mean, this is on the back of Pucovski. This is also highlighted the opening batting spot with Pucovski. Pucovski was in for Warner. He was in the team. Pucovski.
Sounds like it was
his time.
He was in.
And then he gets hit in the head against, was it Boomer who also hit him? No, it might have been Shami. Doesn't matter. It was one of the Indian players.
Or Saini, yeah.
He got littered at Drummoyne.
Yeah.
And it was bad. That's his ninth concussion. Yeah. Nine concussions.
Yeah, he has a specific issue with that, I think. But it then has like heralded a lot of discussion about concussion in cricket.
Yeah.
Do you take the same approach towards it as a lot of the footy codes are, and also what's happening in the US and whatever, or is it a little bit of a coincidence at the moment? Like, is there a systemic issue with concussion? I'm not sure there is. And then, you had Malcolm Knox, one of the great and revered sports writers and writers generally in Australia, do a piece, Sydney Morning Herald, the Age 9 papers, whatever you meant to fucking call it. And he actually got dicked by the headline hard.
Yeah,
Malcolm Knox.
Yeah,
because it looked as though he was arguing that the bouncer should be outlawed. Now, if you read the piece, a lot of mouth breathers don't read the piece. I felt Malcolm was more saying it will be outlawed, and he also said that he would miss it. But he's saying he believes that it will be by sheer force of pressure and public health necessity because of the damage that it's doing to people's heads. I mean, and Cricket Australia, it's a very complex legal kind of question, these sorts of things, and public health question that comes down to questions, like very important questions about personal responsibility and awareness versus, occupational health and safety and the responsibilities that an administration has to a player. So, I thought it was it's very possible to read a piece like that and be intrigued by it, to be challenged by it. I mean, I think the bouncer should remain. It's a fundamental part of bat-ball relations, and they are relations in cricket. We just need to give batters every chance to, avoid concussions. But we can't shy away from the fact that bowlers are intending to hit a batsman's head when they bowl bouncers. That's literally the gambit. The gambit is I am aiming this missile at your head in cricket so as to ensure you feel sufficient primal fear to hamper your technical capacities. I'm at your head now. You must protect your head now. You can't do any other shit. And you're going to worry about getting hit in the head, so now I can bowl full, all that sort of stuff. That, you kind of need that in cricket, I think. But they are trying to hit the head.
Yeah, that's what they're aiming for.
It's always a weird one when bowlers hit batters in the head and then they feel bad about it. And that makes sense too, because you don't like to see people go down naturally, but we're also aiming for their head. Our body line still exists. It's just without the leg theory, without the leg side field. I mean, it's literally what everyone tries. I mean, they're trying to do it to Smith, not so much in the head, but in the ribs, trying to hit the ribs. I mean, it's a legitimate tactic in cricket where you're basically fearful, therefore you play a bad shot, and you make a mistake, and then you get out. The thing is with the bowlers at this level, they're so accurate with the bounce and that. But I think it's actually twofold now. I think about it. I think there's without a doubt that the advent of helmets means that more batsmen get hit in the head. I think there is no way that the bowling has become so much better, so much more accurate with the bouncer, that there were so few instances of batsmen getting hit in the head at basically every level up until about 1990. And then the more and more the batsmen are playing their shots and they feel confident about, you can get hit in the head and not be, fucking sculled. They're just getting hit all the time. I hear this argument and I think that's probably right, but I don't really know where we're meant to go as a next step from
No, neither do I. No, I have no suggestions with that.
I've heard also people say people need to improve their technique. I mean, to hooking the ball. I mean, there are times when bowling is just literally too quick for you as well, or you just don't pick it up at the start and you're trying to get out of the way. It's not just you've got to put your hook shot away, man. You'll never get hit again in the head. It is an interesting one. Langer got knocked out. He reckons he got concussed about 9 or 10 times in his career. I genuinely wonder if he's thankful that we don't know what we know now about concussion for the career that he was able to have and the way that sets up his life or the memories he has.
I remember the literal memories.
Or doesn't have.
Yeah. I remember that one in his 100th test was in South Africa. McLaren got him first ball, I think. He killed him flush on the side of the lid. The one where the ball comes forward from the grill, real bad.
He got knocked out or concussed in his first and his 100th test.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, there's heaps of there's enough out there because the NFL been through this whole thing recently about concussions and instances of what that does to the brain after people's careers.
Yeah.
There was the rugby union player who won the 2003 World Cup for England. His name escapes me again. And we're talking about this a while ago, Pez. And exactly right. And he doesn't remember winning the World Cup final. There's a Welsh rugby player who's 41 who has had early onset of dementia because of concussions during his career. Now, rugby and cricket are very different. I'm not sure if you can have different types of concussion. For instance, one impact, one something with the neck, I suppose. But it ain't good. It ain't good for the brain. Will Pucovski's 22. He's had 9 concussions. I wonder at what point it comes to a matter of quality of life for him longer term, which I imagine would be extremely difficult because he has got his entire life set up. I'm talking like legacy almost financially. He is set up for his life.
Also, it's been his destiny, since
That's right.
Like he's been so prodigal.
Right.
I'm not sure anyone's ever been as prodigal.
Maybe not.
As Will Pucovski in the age of prodigal runs.
Yes, that's right.
So this is something that he's essentially been working towards his entire life.
Yeah.
It's where he's meant to be. He's meant to be wearing a baggy green. It'd be very difficult for him to deal with.
Yeah. And he's like, oh no, I won't play anymore.
Yeah. I think it's different to rugby and
I'm sure
and
it
those
is.
kinds of sports in the sense that like actually there's so much advantage to be gained from like continually smashing people in the head in those sports. Whereas in cricket, it is a part of the game and it's a fundamental part of the game, but it's not the focus of the game. I don't know.
Chappelli, we talk a lot here on the Grey Cricketer podcast about having prodigal runs, seeking prodigal runs, and we think that we had that with Will Pucovski, who's sort of been in around the squad for a while, just missed out on opportunities. But how concerning is it that Will's now had? I think it's 9 concussions he's had now. I mean, are we looking at a situation here where he might have a shortened career anyway if he's going to, I'm not sure how many more concussions he can have. I mean, how concerning is it for, CA or the selectors or the team in itself, and that this guy is he's surely ready to play, but, he can't keep getting hit in the head.
Firstly, what are prodigal runs?
Well, prodigal runs are just someone who's young and just looks like they're going to score 1 million runs for Australia.
Like someone who was a prodigy.
Yeah, prodigy.
And then their runs are going to be prodigal.
Yeah.
Right, you confused me with these big words. Yeah, it's very concerning that he's had, 9 concussions already. I think 8 from cricket, 1 from football, is that right?
That's right,
Yeah, no. And there was a very concerning, when he went down on his hands and knees when he got hit this last time, it was almost, like, oh, not again.
Yeah.
And this is probably going to stop me playing in the first test. And, I reckon as much as anything, he was down on his hands and knees because those were all the thoughts going through his mind. And you're quite right. I mean, how many concussions can you have? How many's too many? Well, one's too many. So, yes, that's a major problem. But, I mean, here's an example. I mean, when Phil Hughes was killed with the cricket ball, Cricket Australia said we're going to do a safety review. Now, I asked James Sutherland, who was the CEO of Cricket Australia at the time, does this include technique, the review? And he said, it was a terrible answer he gave. He said, I don't know. And that was a shock to me in the first place. But then I said, well, could you find out and let me know? And he never got back to me. So I then found somebody else from Cricket Australia who checked up, and they came back to me and said, no, it doesn't include technique. Well, what a load of bollocks. I mean, how can you be thinking about safety and not include technique? Technique is the best way to avoid getting hit in the head. I mean, I played 16 years of international cricket, probably nearly 20 of first-class cricket, and I never got hit in the head. And there was a reason for that. Now, I saw somebody say, I think I was reading it today, talking about how in the old days you had a vested interest in not getting hit in the head, and they were dead right, because it was going to bloody hurt if you got hit in the head. But, to not include technique in a safety review, to me, is ludicrous. And now there's talk of, once again, going through how they can make it safe, more safe and less concussions. Well, for heaven's sake, put technique at the top of the list.